All right, what's up? Good morning, PT on Ice. Good to see everybody. Happy Thursday. Dr. Jeff Moore here, CEO of the Institute of Clinical Excellence and lead faculty for cervical and lumbar spine management courses. Good to see everybody this morning. Thanks to all who have come out the past couple of weekends. We've had a wonderful past couple of weekends. Just a few days ago, we were here in Greeley, Colorado, working with the Banner Health Group and had a wonderful group of folks there. The weekend before that, we were in Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks to Lindsay Huey for coming out and helping out TAN and a great group, multidisciplinary group. Good to have chiropractors in the house and really having a great time going over lumbar and cervical management the past couple of weekends. So coming up here this weekend, I'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina, working with the Evidence in Motion team, and then I'm going to be doing some clinic mentoring. So I'll be in the clinic all week next week with a fellow in training. So looking forward to seeing a bunch of patients outside of my house, but in another individuals where we can really hammer at these challenging presentations and see if we can bump things forward. So a lot of good things going on. What else in the ice front? I believe the Ice Miss just got released, our email blast, so that was kind of cool, getting a good response from that. And overall, hope everyone's doing awesome. So today I wanted to chat about something that I think, it's Thursday, Leadership Thursdays, talking about business and concepts and thought leadership. And, one thing I wanted to unpack today was, this idea of competitive ill will, because it's natural, but I do think it's very damaging, right? And so, what's up, Justin? It's good to see you, man. Good morning. So it's both distracting and damaging. You think about when that clinic opens up near you. Hey, what's up, Sarah? Good to see you. When a clinic opens up near you, or a CrossFit box opens up down the road, or somebody launches a similar product, right? Maybe from the ice side, somebody launches a mentorship that sure looks similar to ours, or a class that seems similar to what we're teaching. It's natural to have feelings of frustration, right? Of competitive ill will, like, gosh, this is my space, and you're kind of trying to protect that, right? And the problem is, that's very distracting, right? Like if you get caught up in that, it undeniably is a time suck, and I think it's very, very unuseful, right? Mental energy spent, right? So you hear a lot about like an abundance mindset, kind of, I guess the opposite of what I just described might be called like a scarcity mindset. So you hear this term thrown around all the time of an abundance mindset, which I think is great and begins to get sort of after shifting that negative thought virus, but I don't think does enough, right? This concept of there's enough to go around, there's enough success to go around, is good, but I don't think it quite erases like that lingering, what you might call competitive ill will, right? What I propose instead is that we drill even deeper and truly appreciate that these folks who are in the same space as you, but with a slightly different approach and probably a somewhat more different belief structure, are actively helping you, right? And if you can embrace that they are actively helping you, I think that it will not only derail some of the time suck and some of the negative energy that's absorbing you as far as seeing these folks as more of like a head-to-head competition, and will not only allow you to avoid that time suck, but will actually allow you to find ways to support these folks that really have a lot more in common with your mission and what you're trying to do than maybe that initial gut reaction of competitive ill will might suggest, right? And it really, to pull this off, it really stems from, you have to embrace that we're looking for perfect matches, right? In business, it doesn't matter what we're doing. So when I think about the clinic, right? So I said next week I'll be mentoring in North Carolina all week, and I'll be watching clinicians go about patient care and trying to improve that in any way that I can. The more that I do that, the more that I become convinced that a lot of times an excellent outcome or an extremely satisfied customer, client, patient, right, is more a result of good matching than the clinician being good or great. Now do not mishear me. Do not mishear me saying that I don't think you should sharpen the sword at every opportunity possible. I am saying, however, that it's probably underestimated or underrated how important the matching process is, right? That let's stay with the clinic analogy, that this patient, right, needs a service that you are really comfortable providing. That your soft skills and the individual's soft skills seem to relate really nicely together and match together. And it forms that nice positive expectation, that nice first impression, things that tend to roll towards a good outcome. I think the matching component of success might be underestimated, right? And I also believe that not only is the matching of product to consumer, right, in any area, not only is that matching for over delivery underappreciated, but I think that we don't need as many fans or followers than we perceive. I think it was Kevin Kelly. I read it in Tools for Titans in Tim Ferriss's book first, but I think it was Kevin Kelly who coined that idea of 1,000 true fans. And that one speaks to my absolute core. Like, there's few things I've heard in business that I agree with more. You don't need 1 million fans. You need a reasonable amount of people that rabidly believe in what you believe in, right? And that you just match up with perfectly. That your mindset, your values, your approach just hit that person in the sweet spot where they consume the majority of pretty much everything you do. And maybe that's a two-way street, right? Maybe you feel the same way. But that small group of folks who are like, this is exactly the way that I want to think, or this is exactly what I needed. And it's exactly how I was hoping it would be presented. Right? If you get a reasonably moderate sized amount of those people that consume almost everything you do, and you're not in this to get, in whatever your business is, to get rich, but to make a reasonable living, that gets the job done. I think the example, this is going back a while now, but I think the example was, if you had 1,000 rabid fans who paid $100 and you had a structure that allowed you to keep the majority of that, it's $100,000. Right? And if your life is reasonable, right, and you can become comfortable with that, you don't need a ton of people to support your art or your craft or your business. You need a small amount of perfectly matched people, right? So if we can kind of get on the train that over-delivering for somebody in creating tremendously high satisfaction really is as much due to match as it is to skill, and we can get on the train that if you get people who you over-deliver for and they become rabid fans, you don't really need very many of them. Right? If we can accept those two things, then it really becomes down to, well, how do we create this magic? Like how do we make sure that our product, our offering hits a perfect match more commonly in a higher percentage of at-bats, right? Okay, I'd say there's two ways, and this is where this all kind of circles together. Way number one is, of course, that you get better in your marketing outreach, yada, yada, of promoting your unique value, right? So you get better at kind of explaining to your customer base or the customer size as a whole that here's what we do uniquely, here's why you might choose us. And the better you are at that, the better the match. Fair enough. I think we should always all be striving for that. But I would argue the other one, and maybe the more important one, is that other people who are in a similar space to you, but are going about it a bit differently, right? Those people are pulling away your bad matches. Okay, so really think about that, and I hope you can embrace that. So other people who you originally felt like, oh man, boy, that they sure are launching a similar product, or boy, that seems like it's going to eat away at my business. The reality, I don't think anyhow, is ever that that's the case. Because the reality is, especially if you feel like, well, that's not exactly how we went about it, right? There were enough differences there to be meaningful, right? Those people are actually coming at it from a different angle, right? With a different personality behind it, with an overall different, deep down driven kind of philosophy behind how they're doing what they're doing. And it is going to be an imperfect match for you that is a perfect match for that company, person, etc. So actually, them being here in the space actually is pulling away imperfect matches from you, right? Because if they're doing a good job of describing their UVP, other people who would not have fully responded to what you're doing are going to be better suited in that camp. And that individual is going to be able to over deliver for them in a way that you would have failed to. Right, you would have had kind of this mediocre, lukewarm overall business relationship going forward. So the other people being in the space actually helped you get a higher percentage of at-bats of people who are a tremendous match and want to become one of those rabid fans. So you're actually putting your energy into people that have a better chance of really buying into your system, your idea, your concept in a very meaningful way long term, because other people were helping filter out matches that weren't perfect by putting forth a slightly different philosophy, right? If you can get behind that and appreciate that these other voices in your space are actually doing you a tremendous service and you them a tremendous service, now you actually wind up wanting to mic up their microphones. You want to amp up their volume. You want to share their stuff, right? And what this does is it actually moves the entire mission more forward. Because now, as opposed to sitting back and scheming about how you can edge that person out, right? Or suffering from kind of that competitive ill will and looking at social media and thinking, oh, this person's gotten ahead of me and I've got to do this. Instead of doing that, you find yourself sharing their posts and you find yourself connecting individuals that maybe aren't responding great to what you're doing with what the other individual's doing. Kind of comes back to the thing we've talked about in the past about how reluctant we are to refer patients within our own profession. Right? How rare it is that we send someone down the street for PT when they're honestly a better match. But we know when we do take that high road, good things happen for all parties. And this expands across the entire concept of business. And I think to fully embrace it, the one hurdle that tends to stand is you've got to embody and accept that there's no right way to go about any of this, right? There is your way, right? And there's that group's way, and there's that gal's way, and that guy's way. There's all these ways to go about it. None of them are right. The only reason yours feels right is because it's authentic to you, right? And that's important, right? But realize the reason that you didn't go the other direction, but the other person did, was that was authentic to them. And the key is to find consumers that share that authenticity of vision and match them up with the appropriate leaders, the appropriate products, right? That is definitely aided by everybody getting everybody else's message out there, more heard, more verbalized, more understood. And ultimately that carries the day for moving the entire mission forward. Right? As we've always said at ICE, right? You can't over deliver for everybody and you shouldn't. Stay in your lane and drive fast. Stay in your lane and drive fast, right? Shake this feeling of competitive ill will. Realize everybody's trying to move things forward in their own way and love the fact that all these other ways are out there because that allows the customer base to be filtered so each person can get their over delivery of 1,000 Rabbit fans and everybody can have a successful business. Yes, it's the abundance mindset, but I think that to really change your behavior, you have to get even deeper and believe that your competition is actually working for you. And once you all are doing that, a lot of that mental distraction goes away and a lot of moving things forward arrives. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. It means a lot to me. Like, I know how easy it can be to get caught up in comparing yourself or doing this or doing that. But if you really drill down and appreciate this, all of a sudden, everybody starts supporting everybody else. And we can actually make some significant change at scale. So I hope that resonated. By all means, hit me up here with comments. I'm all about chatting about these concepts. I've got some plane time tomorrow. I'll be heading to North Carolina. So always happy to chat this out or share ideas or drill deeper. So thanks, everybody. Have a happy holidays. If you're signed up for the IceMiss email newsletter, you'll see my video in there coming soon. I think Zach's went out yesterday. I think Jessica's goes out this morning. I'll try to include the link to that in the next Hump Day Hustling Wednesday email in case you haven't seen that or gotten around to signing up. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the week. Finish strong in clinic. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Jamie.